Yeah.
Right. In 5, 4, 3, 2.
I know, you see, somehow the world will change for me and be so wonderful. Live life, breathe air, somehow we're gonna get there. So we've actually done that as the intro for every episode so far. Like, not kidding.
For
like,
real?
we might get, like, someone might literally
really
come after us for copyright because we've done that every time.
It should be fine.
Okay, so who do you want to be?
Freddie.
Ariana Grande, and she's like,
Was she on iCarly for an episode?
oh wait, no, I'm thinking
you're
of
thinking of Victorious.
No, you're thinking Victorious, yeah.
But remember when they had that crossover episode?
Yeah, dude, any crossovers
With
in
who
those
else?
universes were good.
Sam was in it.
Oh no, now I'm thinking about the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and
I did that intro earlier.
the Raven crossover.
What? They had a That's So Raven and
Yes.
Sweet Life of Zack and Cody crossover?
If I
That's
remember
crazy.
correctly.
All right,
Oh, you
so...
want to do the official intro?
Oh, that wasn't the official intro. We've introed like 3 times. All right. Welcome to Vibing This. I'm your host, Robin. This is a podcast where we talk to artists and ask them about their music. And today we have on our guest, Dani Murcia. And
Hi,
this
Dani.
is Brian.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brian.
Also known as Bubs.
Also
Bubs,
known as Brenston.
Brenston.
Bib, Booby,
Booby.
all of the above.
Booby. I don't call you Booby nearly enough. That's a good
I call
one.
you Booby.
Booby's good.
I kind of want to have my hand at giving the official Dani Murcia intro.
Uh-huh.
And then you can add it. You can
Okay.
fill in whatever I'm missing.
Okay.
Let's see. So, Daniela Murcia.
Oh, the official government name.
Daniela Murcia is a really talented, amazing musician, artist, singer-songwriter, guitar player. You do a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
She does it all.
And you're super talented, honestly. I hate to get serious for a moment. But no, you're really freaking talented.
Aww.
You're from Miami, which is how we met.
Mm-hmm.
You went to Berklee. You live here now, which is New York City.
We're in Bushwick.
Bushwick,
Let's clarify.
Bushwick,
We're in
but
Bushwick.
We're in Brooklyn, yeah.
But she lives in Ocean Hill, so there's a little difference.
But it's only a 10-minute walk from Bushwick.
It's hard. It's confusing borders, right? Who decides them?
Exactly.
Come on.
So you released an album about a year ago, yeah? Called Weight of the World,
Yeah.
and it's really, really good.
Thanks.
I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like maybe like heavy R&B or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know. That doesn't even feel like an accurate way to describe your album. But anyways, Dani's just really cool. You do a lot of work, like, I feel like I've been seeing you do a lot of like touring and stuff over the last like year or so. So that's Dani. Did we miss any essentials of your sort of like bio or?
No, I think
the
you
music
pretty
bio.
much- yeah, I think you got it. Yeah.
Cool.
I also teach, and that is something that I feel like happy and proud of.
What do you
Yeah.
teach?
I teach like music production and songwriting, band, beats, and it's like mostly to like young girls, women, femme people, and people who otherwise don't really have like the opportunity to resources in this world we live in. And yeah, and I love them so much. And I was with them like all day today and yesterday, so yeah, that's why it came to mind too. But other than that, you hit it right on the nail.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's like they're friends or something.
I know. No, and it means a lot. to hear you say that, because yeah, like, you've known me from the early days, like, literally we were little kids.
Little kids playing gigs together in Miami.
Yeah, and like making covers in like your parents' house.
Yeah.
Wait, so what was the last tour that you went on?
The last run we were on was earlier, like 2 months ago maybe now, and we hit Berlin, which was super cool. We hit Frankfurt, Oslo, and Warsaw, which was my first time in all of those places.
That's
and
so sick.
yeah, and each venue was so different from each other, and the people over there are really great because they're just really, really attentive to like the music, and yeah, so it was really fun.
Were you touring this album?
No, I was touring with a friend. I toured with a friend named Samora Pinderhughes. And it is really sweet in that we're all such good friends, and he loves us all as individual artists, that he'll like, each tour he'll be like, okay, we're singing this song of yours, this song of yours, this song of yours, and like we'll each play our own songs.
Nice.
Which
Wait, that's
is
so sick.
So sick, yeah. And other friends who have been on the tour are like, when I tour with other artists, like that doesn't really happen, or like they
Yeah.
barely even say your name, like you're just kind of like a member of the band, but it feels really like family with them. So
Wait, that's so
Yeah,
fun.
it's
So wait, when you
nice.
tour with other artists, are you like singing usually? Or
I
are you
sing,
playing?
and then he's had me play guitar, which is why I think I've gotten better at it, because he was like, do you want to play guitar? And I was like, okay, I need to play the guitar then. Like,
Yeah.
So I remember locking myself up for a month. I would tell all my friends, like, I can't go out tonight, I'm sorry, I have to play guitar for like 2 hours to just get it together. Yeah.
Okay, so you went on tour really recently with this crew.
Mm-hmm.
They had you, so you probably played some songs off this newest album.
Yes, I did.
What songs did you play?
Of my own,
Mhm.
I played this one called To Witness.
To Witness,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, part of vibing this is that we want people to discover you and your music. So we were wondering if it'd be okay if you could play a little bit of it.
Sure.
But before you play, like, can you give a little background on the song and maybe tell us a little bit how you made it?
Yeah, so with this song in particular, well, let me just get this guy then.
Yeah, get that guy in there. Get that sweet guitar in there.
Yes, this is my friend Ben Higginbotham's guitar, so shout out Ben Higginbotham.
Shout out, Ben.
Oh, I thought the guitar's name was Ben Higginbotham. I was like, well, that's a creative name for a guitar.
I'm gonna officially name it Ben Higginbotham
Yeah.
after its owner, Ben Higginbotham. So I'm gonna take this off. Yeah, I mean, I never like, with instruments other than the voice, I never like learned how to play. Like, I learned through YouTube, both for piano and guitar.
Wow.
Yeah, and like,
That's so sick.
yeah, I'm a huge YouTube University
Totally.
like,
Totally.
I'm like, I tell all my kids and friends, like, you can learn anything on
You can
there.
learn
like,
anything on
anything, yeah.
That's so sick.
And you can get really good at it too, like, wait. So, yeah, basically my guitar, like, knowledge and learning was just, like, learning shapes on guitar. Like, I can't tell you what chord this is. I probably should know by now, too, because it's been, whatever. But yeah, so I would just play shapes, and then, like, kind of go down and be like, oh, that sounds nice together, and then I'll be like, oh, that sounds cute, too. And then, like, I'm like, okay, let me take this shape here, and then I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound good, so, oh, that sounds nice, and then I'll just, and so, like, all my songs that I've written on guitar have mostly been me just, like, noodling until I find something that I like, and I'm very, called to, like, things that are close to each other, so like usually these like semitones and very dark chords, and I write a lot in like minor keys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, a lot of your music is really minor.
Yeah, I'm a sad bitch.
No, literally, for context for anyone who listens to Rob on Spotify, which you should after this, like, literally the description is like, listen to this and cry, smiley face, and I'm like, this is accurate and so sweet and
yeah, yeah. It's funny because I feel like I'm a pretty like smiley and like friendly person.
You're so bubbly, yeah.
Yeah, but at home I'm a sad. Can I curse on here?
Yeah, of course.
Well, bleep.
Well, bleep. Well, you'll just be a sad
bleep. Yeah. So yeah, I like that type of shit. So anyway, and then this song, I remember being in my first apartment in Brooklyn, and it must have been winter, and I'm from Miami, where what is winter? Like, we don't have that.
We don't have winter. In
I mean,
Miami,
we like
it's
to
just
think that
gorgeous in December.
Yeah.
It's just like flawless, yeah.
But we'll bring out our little like boots and scarves to say that
like
we
all the
have.
Miami girls have Uggs and they wear them like twice, and it's for like the air conditioned libraries.
Yes.
There you
Like
go.
that's
Exactly.
literally the vibe.
Yeah. So yeah, when I got up north, I experienced some pretty bad depression.
Yeah, the seasonal depression in New York.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
it's
bad.
real.
And it just kind of reinforced my like connection to nature and like my need for like sunlight and trees and warmth.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I honestly can't tell you like what part of the song. I know I wrote the guitar parts first, but like lyric wise, I feel like I just remember it kind of spilling out and being sort of like a mantra towards like a god. Like I don't really have like a religion, or I don't God to me is kind of like everything.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like the stars and the trees and the water, and yeah, anyway, so this song was kind of like my love song to that, to like God, which to me is like nature. Okay.
I love that. That's such good context.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's called To Witness because as an Aquarius, I'm like, what the fuck are we here for? Like, why are we in this body and have like, what are we doing here right now? You know, like, I don't know, I just find it kind of insane sometimes that we're
Yeah.
just walking around and we have these jobs and friends and life and houses and bills, and like, I'm like, what is the purpose of this whole thing? And I think something that came was like, we're just here to witness it all and to like be in it and be part of it and contribute in whatever way we can. And so it's called To Witness.
Yeah.
I love that.
All right. Find me underneath blossoms with waters that sing, searching for words to explain how it all came to be. To your perfect plan, sacred your dance, I'll follow where you go. To witness your love and darkness that guides me home. I found power in silence, in strength in my song. Oh, I found worlds beyond knowing. I know it sounds a bit off, but I stay waiting, wishing, praying. Send me a voice, send me a sign. Then you love. Pacing your dance, I'll follow where you go to witness your perfect love and darkness that guides me home. Guide me home. To witness your perfect plan, sacred your dance, I'll follow where you go to witness your perfect love and darkness that guides me home.
That was so good.
Thank you.
Oh my god, Dani, you have such a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
That was honestly so beautiful.
I also really love singing, like, I know where I'm mic'd, but like singing like in a room. Like, I don't know if you experience this, but like anytime I hear myself in a mic or like playing live, I hate it.
Yeah.
But like when I sing like to the room, I'm like, oh.
Like, I'm feeling
That's
myself.
Yeah.
And the guitar is so beautiful on that.
Yeah, thanks. A nice micro shift, baby.
Yeah. Shout out Sound Toys.
Shout out Sound Toys. Actually, I like emailed them. Side note, I emailed them being like, "Oh, I got a new computer. Like, can I download my second version?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, here's how you do it." Da da da. By the way, I love your music.
No way!
That's so
I was
cute.
like, "What?
That's so sick.
Collab?"
That's so sick. Wait, yeah,
Yeah.
where's the Dani Murcia plugin?
Sound Toys.
That's so sick.
Waiting for it.
So tell me about, like, you just said the words kind of fell out of you.
Yeah.
But, like, what do you mean by that? Like, are you just like a poet where you're like, oh, I'm like writing something and then it just like one thing leads to another? Or like, how do you build a song?
Yeah. Sometimes it really just spills out. Like, I honestly can't explain it. Like, I don't know, it's just random vowels, and then I'll try to write words that literally fit to those vowels. And yeah, the last song I wrote was like, yeah, it's like 2 hours of like, don't look at your phone, don't look at anything, just like really like see what fits and what doesn't fit, play it over, record it. How does it sound recorded back to you? But some songs, honestly, like, I black out.
That's honestly crazy. That's crazy and amazing. And I always find, like, we always ask people, like, how did you do the songwriting process and the inspiration? And it's always nuts to me how it's literally different for every single person. But, like, I totally hear you on, like, you writing vowels and then being like, okay, now I gotta, like, put the words on top of this to make it work.
Yeah.
But something like this, it's so beautiful, and you're like, yeah, I don't know, just spilled out. I'm like, she's so creative. She's so good.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a lot. I journal every day too, and like, yeah, I feel like for a song like this, like, I try to tend to my spirit pretty regularly. So, and this song feels like a song that was meant to like heal the spirit.
I was actually thinking that because, like, I feel like music can be so many different things, and it can just be like, it can be really fun, it can be like, you can go out dancing and it can feel really good. And for me, I feel like healing is actually a word that I definitely like feel like comes up with your music, and I'm wondering, like, yeah, does that resonate with you, like, in your artistry? Like, do you feel like that music is like a good tool for you, and like what's that about?
What's that about?
Because I remember, dude, at Dani had a show at Public Records, which is a really fucking sick venue, like a year ago for your album release.
Yeah.
I was so stoked that I was able to play a little bit on that show. It was really fun. But it was like a fucking... Yeah, it felt like it was like a church service. Yeah, it was really cool.
That makes me so happy. Yeah, I feel like the way that music worked for me growing up was that, like, it was a tool for me to, like, sort of escape and, like, understand my emotions better. Like, I'm also just a highly sensitive person, and I started posting stuff on the internet, and, you know, people would just be like, man, this really helped me with this time. And also people being really open about their things. Like, you know, I had people tell me that it helped them through their mother's, like, cancer recovery, or, like, you know, they lost their, like, their sibling due to whatever, you know, natural causes, and, like, it helped them through that time. And so I think in knowing what that feeling was like for me, and then, like, seeing and receiving that from other people, like, from them hearing my music, I was like, oh, there's something here. I don't know, it just became a thing where it's like, this is what I want to do with it. Like, it is a really powerful healing tool. Yeah, I almost struggle to write songs that are not like I want to write just like fun,
Right,
or like
songs
love
that
songs,
dance
or
like,
like yeah.
No, you pour your heart into it.
Yeah.
No, I think music, I think art generally is just the physical manifestation of emotion. And it's like the only physical manifestation of emotion we have. Like, if people are like really good painters or musicians or whatever, it's like it's the only way we can express ourselves in a way that can be like interpreted. Otherwise we're just like talking at people and like saying how we feel.
Yeah.
But you can like put this thing out there as like a more permanent object of being like, this is how I'm feeling. And it's really cool when people relate to it and resonate with it, like they do with your music.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful. But yeah, I think that is the surface. And also I feel like I'm so happy that your music's amazing, but like I'm so happy you've had that experience where people have listened to it and given you that really good feedback of like, oh, I really like resonate with this. Because I mean, low-key, putting out anything like this podcast is scary.
It is.
And you're like, oh my God. Like, it's so scary.
It's
like,
terrifying.
I'm terrified of, like, the judgment, or of, like, what if people hate it?
Mm-hmm.
But, like, your music's so good, and I'm just happy it's being greeted with, like, the love and respect and, like, resonation that it deserves. Okay, do you want to tell us a little bit more about the album? So, album, Weight of the World.
Yeah, it was, like, from beginning to end, sort of like a 4-year process.
Wow.
Basically. Yeah.
And music takes a long time to write.
Yeah. And it wasn't like, from year one, it wasn't like I was like, I'm gonna make an album. I remember the evening before, like, hanging out with some of my, like, musical heroes, and we were hanging out in my room and, like, listening to vinyls, and it was just, like, really cool. And so the next day I had the day off, and I was like, there's all this energy in this room, like, I need to put it somewhere. Like,
Nice.
I literally hung out with my heroes. I'll tell you who they are after. I don't want to say it on the podcast. But
Oh, I'm sure they would love to hear.
yeah, long story. But yeah, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna spend this whole day, like, trying to channel this energy. And, like, Weight of the World came out, and it again was one of those just spilled out, to the point that there's one line that doesn't even really have a lyric. Like, I literally am just like, ee, and I had to, like, invent a word when I was writing the lyrics, anyway. And then I think by, like, 2020 or 2021, I was like, damn, I think I have enough songs for, like, a project. And then once I had the demos for most of the songs, I went to Koa, and I was like, okay, I think I have an album. Like,
Woo,
shout out Koa. I was like, can we, like, can we solidify this as, like, a project and, like, a body of work? And so it wasn't like I was like, I'm gonna make a project, here's the intention. It was like, songs were made and created, and I think since they were created in a specific time of my life, they have a similar sound and vibe. That is the music. It's like, all right, here's my heart on a plate. You can have it and dissect it and look at it and come up with your own interpretations of it too. And you could be completely wrong and have this whole story of, you know, and like it's vulnerable.
What was the, like, going back to the album recording, what was the sort of like talks like before you have the songs with like, what did you want it to sound like? What did you want to go for? What is the like sound palette? Like, how did that sort of process go?
I listened to a lot of... it's like a big mix of a lot of things, which I think is probably why I also don't know how to, like, define it as a sound. As a heavy R&B listener, it's not R&B, but I hear the R&B influences. Like, I hear them...
the whole thing has, like, a... Like, it all sounds like the same album, too.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you're, like, sampling a bunch of different styles that are all different from each other.
Yeah.
They all have this, like, continuous thread.
And it's not, like... It's not indie, but, like, or, like, folk, but I think a lot of my melodies come from, like, folk and, like, Spanish and Portuguese folk. I listened to a lot of Moses Sumney at that time, so I really enjoyed, like... space and strings and also these like weird alien-y sounds too.
R&B, alien.
Yeah. I don't know, it's
like if you're gonna get abducted by an alien and you switch on some R&B, you're like, this is it.
Yeah, and you're like literally floating through space.
But it sounds blissful and very healing
on a
at the
cruise
same
ship
time.
through space.
Woo!
Sounds like a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
This is actually just a conspiracy theory podcast.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually a great question. What's your favorite conspiracy theory?
The world is flat.
That's a good one. But I feel like when people say that, you're like, there's way too much rationale as to how that's not the case.
I know. Honestly, though, I did at a time many years ago.
No, don't say it. Don't say it.
No. Let me finish. I went down a YouTube dive.
Of course.
And I was like, this is convincing. And then
You're like, whoa,
then I Googled,
people really...
like, a flight, and I was like, oh no, this is fake. Like,
oh man.
Yeah. I just like, if you have enough, like,
if you're convincing,
you
guys gotta be fact checking yourself on YouTube.
People were really convinced.
We can maybe cut this part out, but when I was in Colombia, I was staying at a hostel, and there was this Colombian girl there, and I hooked up with a flat earther.
She really
Wait, no, we're cutting this part out. This is gold.
There was just something about her talking about La Tierra Plana that I was like, this is kind of...
You're like
when you put it that way, like, I'm actually just turned on. Like, it was...
I'm just turned on.
It was crazy.
You're like, yeah, I see.
You're like, shit, baby, let's rock the whole world right now. It's only like a foot thick.
Let's go find out.
I rocked her flat world. That's for sure.
Yeah, no.
Oh, that's
I mean, like, with anything, if you're convincing enough, I'll give it.
She almost had me out.
Okay, here's my favorite one.
Yeah.
The Denver airport. Have you guys ever been down a rabbit hole in this?
No.
Oh my god, guys. There's actually, like, too much to it for me to explain. But the Denver airport is, like, really eerie and weird. Like, there's tons of things about the Denver airport that, like, don't make any sense. I know, I'm literally flying in there, like, in a couple weeks.
Really?
But, like, so when you go into the Denver airport, there's this massive statue of this horse, and it's, like, really demonic. Like, it has, like, red eyes, and it's really big, and it has veins and stuff, and, like, my watch is listening to me, so clearly it knows. And the horse killed its artist. Like, it fell on its artist and killed its artist.
That's crazy.
Bruh.
And they put it up still. Okay, so we're going to use this portion of the podcast to talk about some silly questions. Dani, what's your best accent or impression that you could do?
I don't have those. I don't do that. No, it's like, I don't... Koa does an Australian, and then I try to do an Australian, but it comes out a little British.
No.
And, like, it's really not good, but, like...
That's not bad.
It's not bad, isn't it?
I like it.
Well, it's definitely not Australian.
My British friends are probably going to be like, what in the hell is this?
What in the hell?
What in the hell is this? Yeah, no, that's...
So was that Australian or British?
Yes.
What's your Australian accent?
Well, Kyle and I have actually spent a lot of time doing that accent. Talking about, we figured out that saying Cuban Missile Crisis is really fun in an Australian accent.
That's like well, actors
Cuban Missile Crisis.
Cuban Missile Crisis.
Cuban.
Cuban Missile Crisis.
Crisis.
Another.
I can do an impression of my students. The other
let's
day,
hear an impression of your students.
they came up to me. Well, here's the thing with kids too. Like, you'll be like, yeah. So like, today I took them on a field trip to like
How old are these kids, by the way?
middle school and high school.
Oof.
Yeah. So between like.
Is it all just like
9.
Skibbity Toilet and
Yes!
like Riz and like Riz? Is this all like that's so Sigma? Like I'm just saying,
the fuck is
I'm just hearing this on TikTok. I'm not in contact with any children, but like literally, I just hear this stuff on TikTok, and I'm like, I don't understand any of it.
No,
Do you understand any of
No.
it? Do you ask them to explain to you?
they don't explain it.
They
Really?
just
They
laugh
just
at
say
it.
it to
Yes.
you?
So like the other day we were all together and like a kid that's not even my student. I've never got her in a class. I can tell you her name now, but like she just came up to me and she was like, Miss, are you Sigma? And I said, what in the hell is that? What is that? And they're like, are you Sigma? Like, do you Mu?
Do you
Mew?
And I said, what is that? And they're like, nah, like, Miss, like, are you Sigma? And I was like, I really don't, I don't
Is it like part of the
understand.
bit that they can't explain it
I
to
think
you?
so. I think so. Because then she was like, do you have Riz? And I was like, I know that one. I
Yeah.
got Riz.
Yeah, we
like,
were
you're
using
using
Riz
it-
before.
We've
that.
been using Riz for a
Yeah.
while
Using Riz
now.
It's like,
before
I
that.
knew that one. So it's like, okay. But then I went to my class and I was like, guys, what the heck is Sigma? And they were like, oh, man.
Miss.
They were like, do you mu-" And then the other thing with kids, like today I was with my high schoolers and I'm like, like teaching them about like, to me, these exciting things, like, how to record and like, look at this microphone. And then they'll look at me and they're like, do you pluck your eyebrows? They're like, wait, what mascara do you use? And I'm like, bro, what? I was like, well, this is cute, like maybe they see me as like,
They're
like someone that they can like ask
inspiration.
questions to
Yeah.
and like, talk with.
I
And I'm
teach
like,
this kid who's
yeah.
like 6 years old, so it's a whole different thing with
Yeah.
him. But I like try to like explain something to him, and then he'll like point to like the hole in the guitar, and he's like, "Your guitar's making the craziest face." And like,
exactly. And you're like,
with him, it's a little bit like, okay,
you're like, why is this
yours-
hilarious? And also like, I just wasted my breath. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. No, it's
Your guitar's
amazing.
making the crazy.
That's like, and you're just like,
Wait, can you make that for the camera? Actually,
did.
it's so funny. Sometimes they say the funniest thing.
that's honestly really cute. I don't work with children. I work with adults, which is actually worse. I'd argue.
I think
That
that's.
you know what?
worse.
It's actually worse
I'm
to
gonna
work
have
with
to
adults
agree with you there
because they're just boring
Miserable.
and if they ask questions that are dumb, you're like, wait a second, you should have been listening because you're a full-grown adult. Whereas
Yeah.
kids, you're like, you're kind of cute.
Yeah.
It's hard as like when a kid has a learning disability. That's what, I feel like I'm a good teacher, and then I have like a difficult child, and I'm like, fuck, I really kind of wish I was more prepared for this.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
just like don't know how to adjust.
Yeah,
That's hard
that's-
though. That's like
For
a hard
me,
thing
it's
to
like
learn.
when they have like an outburst or like,
Yeah.
or like, like sometimes you have a crappy day. I'm like, my home training is very
Right.
different than
Right.
how I would handle like a student, like
yeah.
that did not slide with my mom,
Yeah.
like, but with kids, you're like, what do I say to you? And
And it also hurts too sometimes when they say shit to you.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Oh my
hard
God,
to
they're
not get
ruthless.
affected by it.
You're like,
yeah.
they're like, do you plug your eyebrows? And you're like,
Should I?
should I? Like,
No, the other day,
I mean,
my
I thought
student
they looked
was
good.
like, "Can I see your nails?" And I was like, "Sure." And she was like, "They're ugly." And I was like, "Okay." But like, dude, and you're like,
You're like, that wasn't nice.
And like,
Oh my
and
God,
the
kids are
other student
ruthless.
was like, "That was mean," and she was like, "But it's true." You grow a thicker skin. And honestly, like at the beginning of teaching, I would have been like, and I was like,
It would have ruined your day.
yeah,
God,
yeah.
that's so funny.
I remember being like 8 years old. No, like 6 years old and in piano lessons. I started piano lessons when I was really
Dang.
little.
Wow.
And I was like really shy to do the classes, whatever. Had this piano teacher. We're sitting on the bench together. We've been taking lessons together for a little while. We're sitting on the bench, and she farted during the lesson, and I like felt the fart
No.
on the
Wait.
piano bench.
Yeah.
We were sharing the same piano bench, and
So what'd you do?
I never forgot
Yeah.
that the feeling of that fart and the sound, and like I could not look that woman in the eye.
No, ever again.
Ever again.
Does she just like pretend like
She
just-
probably
She's
didn't
like,
even
the
think it was a
piano's
big
vibrating.
deal.
It's not my
me,
ass.
it's on my-
dude.
it's not my
ass.
cheeks.
I don't think she said anything
Oh
in like.
And this was like a 60-year-old woman.
No, she was probably. She was probably like 25. Like.
Oh.
But in your eyes, she was probably really, really old.
Yeah,
too.
exactly. But I just never.
Yeah, you don't forget those.
You don't
things.
forget that.
That's why I'm always like I can never.
And that's
fart in
why-
front of a student. I can
know.
never do it.
Yeah, they remember things. You remember things, like yeah,
And that's why you didn't play piano.
and that's
Low-key,
why.
I feel like
That's why.
probably
And that's
why.
why Brian's
we
not a
just
famous
uncovered
pianist. It's
something
because
deep
of his
for
music
you.
teacher who farted.
Shut up.
Did you say?
Shut up.
I think we just uncovered something deep in him.
Yeah, this was trauma. On
Yeah.
Trauma 101
Yeah.
today.
I got a lot to
Healing.
unpack.
We can probably wrap things up. So, Danny, what's on the horizon?
I'm gonna be real honest. I don't know. It's like it's hard in this industry, to be completely
Super.
real. It's really hard, especially with like the changes in the last couple of years. Like I wasn't thinking about this kind of stuff like 5 years ago when I was starting recording the record I just put out. Like it was just like I enjoy making music, I'm just gonna put it out. And like honestly, putting it out independently was like it was fine. Like you could sort of get by with that. But man, with the rise of TikTok, it's like it's a great tool, obviously, and just the internet. If you're good at it, though, like meaning like I don't know how people do it. You have to just be on it all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't function in that way. And I've seen that even though I put so much time and effort into making what I think to be like a really good record when it comes to like sound, lyrics, like playing it live, like like performing live is my bread and butter. But man, if you don't have those visuals or like, you know, all these different sort of forms of media, it's not just that your stuff won't get noticed. It's like literally the algorithms don't work in your favor unless you're like feeding them in the way that they want, which again like can be used to your advantage. But anyway, all that to say, I don't know, I'm still like, I feel like I'm figuring out what the next step is for me in terms of that, of like, if it were up to me, I would just continue making music the way that I do in my room, in my studio with my friends, just, you know, kind of doing it for the love of it. But shit is expensive. Life is expensive.
Life is expensive.
So, you know, you
And
kind of
it's
have
not
to
getting
be...
cheaper.
No,
No.
it's not. It's getting a little bit harder, but like, I don't know. It doesn't make me want to stop this. But in terms of music, I have a bunch of different ideas and I just have to solidify them. And then I don't know, like I don't feel called to play the game of the music industry. And that feels okay with me, but yeah, I just have to figure out how to make it work without that. You
Yeah,
know? And
I
it's
really
difficult.
Yeah, it's
It
really
is
tough.
difficult.
Well, you have like a big like Instagram following, and I've seen you like put like some stuff out on TikTok. But yeah, I think it's like
Yeah.
And we were talking about this with like other people, and it's like you just have to be so prolific.
Yes.
Like constantly putting stuff out,
Yeah.
and that's like really exhausting.
Yeah. I like keep trying to tell myself like have fun with it. like
fun.
you know, like because it's like
And then you start doing, you're doing
like-
the NPC, like,
bro.
this doesn't feel right.
No, yeah. But maybe it is about being smart about it and like having fun with it and maybe doing it with people who are good at it and enjoy doing it. But yeah, I don't know. I like my pace. Like I know my pace as a human, and
which is a lot of self-awareness, by the way. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm being 100% serious to know your pace as a human. I feel like I still don't know my pace. I'm always like, oh, I can do everything all the time.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, then I burn out and die.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
especially
I actually can't.
too, living in big cities like we live in, like
Yeah, New York's an animal.
Yeah. It really is. And like I think it fuels some people to like make their best work and work quick and whatever, and for someone like me it does almost opposite. Like it's a little like I'm really craving like time away to just solidify and let the art come through without having to think about like, oh, I have an hour commute to this thing or whatever.
It's honestly really fair and a really good point, and like it sounds like on the horizon then it's just going to be you'll keep putting out music.
Yeah.
But you might not like do the TikTok thing or like the big Instagram thing, and like maybe you get picked up that way. By the way, I feel like the music industry has changed and evolved so much so quickly that who knows if in a few years like you will need to pick the TikTok, like, keep doing the TikTok game. I mean, TikTok almost got banned from the US.
Yeah.
Is it going to be banned? I don't know.
I think it still might.
It still might be. Like, I guess there's not a verdict on that. So, like, you don't know what's going to happen. And if, like, TikTok gets banned, then that's not going to be a revenue stream for people. Yeah. So, like, you know, that could evolve. And I think if you just keep putting out, like, I also think that, like, really good music does rise to the top and your music's so good. And so, like, that could also just be the case.
Yeah, I also do know a lot of incredible musicians that don't go that route and still make it work and still make a living. But again, like, I also know that they still struggle sometimes, you know, like, and it's just so ironic to me, like, the idea of the, like, struggling artist when the people with the most money pride themselves in being, like, patrons of the art. Like, they're the people with, like, these really expensive paintings in their house that, like, you know, like, but then the people creating that art is, like, well, go fuck yourself. Like, eat a pizza after, like, play this show for whatever.
Oh my god, you know what's so funny? I saw this TikTok the other day, actually, of this girl who was like, are rich people still taking artists as pets? If so, like, DM me.
Literally.
And I literally was like, whoa, like, that actually was a thing. And actually, John told me the term for this. I forget what it was called. But I think he maybe was just being a patron, like, basically, like, really old-timey rich people would just, like, take artists into their home and be like, you can paint all day. Like, I'll feed you and house you.
I would love that.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be so sick. You could be someone's pet, like a rich person's pet.
I've literally thought about that a lot. Like, I'm like, I just need, like, one person
you
who,
need
like,
one sponsor.
really believes in me and wants to just pay my rent. It really is that. Yeah, but I don't know. But we'll see. I have a couple of months off in the next months.
Yeah. Definitely.
I have months. Nice, yes.
In the next coming time, I have some time.
Okay, well, keep us updated if you do have any upcoming songs coming out. Otherwise, we're just going to say, listen to our album she put out in 2023, Way to the World.
It's so good.
It's so good. You got a little sneak peek today when she played live. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming on Vibing This.
Thanks, Dani.
We love you, Dani.
Love you guys.